Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and I just wanted to briefly mention that there has been an update to the privacy policy, and there is a link here for you to read it if you're interested to know how I use your information when you either book a reading with me and give your private information, or whether you are signing up for my twice-a-month newsletter. So this is to comply with the recent GDPR regulations. So I just wanted to make everybody aware of that before we get going. And today is May 29th, 2018, and the full moon in Sagittarius occurred this morning at 10:20 a.m. And here's the picture which I found to represent the energy, and I feel that this is a pretty good representation of the Sagittarian archers aiming for a higher goal. And here we have a beautiful full moon, and the sense of adventure is always activated when we have a full moon. Something coming to a head, feeling like something is imminent. Our emotions are intensified. Under the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius, there's usually optimism and enthusiasm that gets mixed in along with it. So you can visit me at Aloha Astro to read my take on the energy today, which is posted here, and every day I post here and I cross post on all these social media sites that you see listed. So you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, and I'm also now on Patreon and Medium if you would like to look for me there. So let's take a look at what's going on in the heavens at the time of the full moon, when we have the moon in Sag making an opposition to the sun in Gemini. And we don't have the conjunction anymore of Sun and Mercury, as Sun is moving forward and away from Mercury at 29 degrees of Taurus here, but it won't be long before Mercury does enter into the sign of Gemini, and we will have that occurring in 11 hours, according to Planet Watcher. So the very last drips here of Mercury in Taurus, and then the planet Mercury will be in the same sign and quality of the Sun, and that can sometimes make it easier when Mercury and Sun are in the same sign. It can help you to figure out what you want to do and which direction to go in, rather than being at odds between how you are feeling or projecting versus what you might be thinking or planning. So there should be a little bit greater harmony by tomorrow as Mercury joins the same sign. They are still not technically conjunct, but let's take a look at what else is going on here. We have practically a grand sextile going around the entire chart wheel. As you can see, we've got a sextile here between the North Node in Leo, Sun in Gemini, and then from Taurus in Mercury in Taurus making a sextile to Chiron in Aries, and that in turn makes a sextile to Mars in Aquarius, and then we have a sextile to the moon today. So just one little chain here, boom, 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 of this connected energy. And I always look at them as being benevolent aspects. They are not major, but when you have a nice bunch of them all in a row, it can add some extra something to the day, and it can also help link the energy of the planets together that are all joined, literally like a daisy chain here. So this links the courage, creativity, passion, drama of North Node in Leo, and the imagination and social energy of the Sun in Gemini, and nearby Mercury about to leave Taurus and go into Gemini, linking up with Chiron in Aries, that would like to improve things and begin something fresh. The newness as well, or the change, the desire to take action on change, is what Mars in Aquarius is looking toward. It is not just personal in Aquarius. It looks at everybody. It's concerned with changes in society. Higher ideals come forward with the moon in Sagittarius. Now we have some larger aspect patterns which are also at play today. we have this grand water trine, and this is in place, I believe, until the 7th of June. So ride this wave. Do as much as you can while you have a grand trine in water, because it is very good for manifesting. It is also very good for healing energy, especially if there's been any tension with somebody where you're not speaking, or where you need to appeal to somebody to see your side of things, where you are looking for empathy or sympathy or mutual support. There can be a great deal of that while we have Venus in Cancer, Jupiter in Scorpio, and Neptune in Pisces. What is for the best is what's probably going to be coming about now and over the next few days. So even if there are changes going on and you might not think that they are all that good, or if you are frightened by anything going on, I would say that there's a protective influence right now, and help can be found, or maybe you are the person who's meant to be doing the helping. Then step up to the plate if that's the case. We also have a yod involving Saturn in Capricorn, and the Sun in Gemini, and the North Node in Leo. And I would say that if you have any imaginative ideas, or if you are attempting to connect with other people in a dynamic way to make things happen, and you need to make something real, or if you feel that you are on a mission and it is in some way something that you just can't let go of, if it feels destined or karmic, this is a pattern called a finger of God that can help you to follow through. If you have a mission, then follow through. Do it. Create it. Have the courage. Go for it. You will receive assistance or cooperation from other people, I feel, along the way, even if you have to state your case and be bold and explain why something is good, or why something needs to be done to address things that might be wrong and basically get right. I feel like Saturn in Capricorn in this aspect pattern is literally like making things right. What is wrong here, and how can we combine together creatively to fix things that are wrong, and that I think we have a moral obligation to do so, just for the betterment of mankind, for the good of everybody. And if we look at what else the North Node is involved with, it's involved with this mystic rectangle here with the Moon and Mars in Aquarius and Sun in Gemini. So again, the cooperation and inspiring other people to act courageously, to move forward, and it's for the betterment of mankind. It's for the good of society. And I think we need to acknowledge that maybe some things need to change. If there are things you can change individually in your own life that will support changes out there in the world by how you spend your money, who you associate with, what you support in terms of businesses, then definitely take social actions. Take social actions as an individual, or look for a group that represents how you feel and join in. Don't sit on the sidelines. This mystic rectangle does kind of box in the two oppositions here of the North Node and Mars and Moon and Sun. So it creates a very strong dynamic that I like to think of as four horses that get hooked up to stagecoach, and the yoke, or whatever it's called, that holds them all together in place so that they drive the stagecoach, is kind of what this mystic rectangle does. It takes two oppositions which would normally be challenging and very activating, but not necessarily have a point or a direction, and here it boxes it in with supportive sextiles and trines that says, okay, how can we take the lemons and make some lemonade? And usually there is a way that is found as a result when we have this strong dynamic. So two very powerful things here with the grand trine, the mystic rectangle, actually three, the yod, and then we have a fourth structure geometrically to consider with the North Node. Again, we have the North Node pulling in, and I know some astrologers don't really mention it much because it's not one of the planets, but it is very fateful. It's about purpose. It's about things that need to be happening, or what is the lesson, what's the meaning. And Leo looks out for common man, and then Aquarius energy looks out toward the future and the good of all and humanity that goes on ahead of us. Basically our future generations. This is the here and the now, and this is the future generations. What are we creating here and now? What are we really being courageous about? What are we changing? And certainly we've had a lot of issues coming up with violence in schools and the issue of gun control, and that might be something that does come out to be addressed and for change, as we have a T-square here with Leo, North Node in Leo, and Leo rules the 5th house of creativity and also children. So that Leo energy making a square to the planet Uranus at the very beginning stages of Taurus, and we have to look at what do we want to do to make things safe and secure. Taurus wants to protect the herd. It's about being here in our material body and enjoying the pleasures of life and our senses and appreciating what is good and keeping it all safe and secure and stable, protected. So we need to do something. We need to do something as a society to eliminate and cut back on the amount of danger that there is now in places where children are gathering in large numbers. I don't even know if we know why this is happening, but this T-square is saying it's time to address it and create some changes. It is time to make our society safer for our children and for the future lives of our children, the world that they are going to be inheriting from us. So that can also be about our management of resources and how we are using resources. And that is something that the Grand Trine can point to in terms of resources. What can we do with all the bounty that's here on this planet? And how can we manage it better so that everybody does have enough? So that's what's going on. It's a very, very busy chart because we have something just about everywhere. It's a splash or splay with things all over the place, creating a lot of dynamic energy. And I think that there can be solutions to a lot of problems. And I think that we are here at the 11th hour, and the realization that we do have to take up causes, or we do have to support what's good and do what's right, might be what that full moon is emphasizing. What does it mean for you personally in your own chart? Well, traditionally, Sagittarius rules the 9th house of higher education, foreign travel, people from other cultures, other philosophies or religions, other walks of life. Basically, it's our brothers and sisters in the global world, and it is also where we gather and share information and experiences. So the sharing of information and experiences is important if you are involved with writing, teaching, publishing, or you have something to self-promote. Then the moon in Sagittarius can help you reach out to people. In general, this is a friendly, optimistic, adaptable sign that is always, much like the symbol of this arrow here, looking out toward that wild blue yonder and a higher plane. So that would be something to consider in terms of your chart and how you might direct your energy. Now, in terms of your personal chart, you would need to know your rising sign to know where the moon is landing and where the Sagittarian quality would be activated right now, and what area of your life might be busiest based on the full moon occurring in that house. So you can always check in with me, book a reading, we can look over your chart, or there are links under freebies on my chart for free information. So let's take a look at the Sabian symbol for today. Here we go. We round up from 8 degrees 10 minutes to 9 degrees. Sagittarius at 9 degrees, a mother leads her small child step by step up a steep stairway. The need in any social situation to assist the less evolved in their management of the problems which society requires its members to solve. A staircase does not present a natural difficulty to a very young child. Man builds stairs and therefore is responsible for assisting the child to climb them step by step. Social and cultural living is not natural. The child must first be taught by example, then helped along as he imitates as well as he can the grown-up's behavior. Climbing stairs is only an illustration of a general process. Every generation must involve itself in teaching the next even the simplest skills needed for social existence. At the fourth stage of the preceding fivefold sequence, we saw parents encouraging a little child to walk. Walking is a natural human function. Climbing stairs is a skill made necessary by the building of several-storied houses, a product of civilization. What is implied here is social concern for the less evolved of society's members. Basically, let's look out for each other. Just not to judge others, not to think that you are higher than somebody else in a way that is superior and gives you any rights to neglect those who are, in your estimation, lower in any way. If you are on a higher level of understanding or knowledge, then it would be your responsibility to hold that energy for somebody else and assist them in their understanding and their growth on a spiritual level, and even on the material level, that we are here to help each other. And I think our world has become much more complex, and there's, even for all our social media connection, there's a lot more alienation. I was thinking about children going into school now. How many know the jumping rope rhymes and the hand clapping games and things that I grew up with? And maybe I sound very old fashioned, but these things were passed down. I mean, my mother knew them, maybe her mother knew them, and somebody older than me taught them to me. I learned those things from somebody higher than me, older than me, who knew them and passed them on and taught me how to play those hand clapping games and jump rope rhymes and things like that. And even the outdoor games we played as children, red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, or tag. Do children do that anymore, or are they simply hooked into the telephones, the phones, the tablets, the computers? How much play is really going on? And the Sagittarius energy is extremely playful. It can also be competitive, and that is the negative side of it. We do uphold our athletes and make them heroes, and we do so because there's the idea of team spirit behind it. Or when we look at individual athletes, how they are striving to improve themselves and break records and be examples for us, something that we can emulate. But I think it's really important that, especially if you have children, play with them. Turn everything off, turn everything off and play some board games, play some card games, get out and have a treasure hunt or something, play ball with your kids, go outside and reconnect. If all our connection going on is simply electronically now, we are losing something. I think that my post yesterday, when we were on the verge of the moon moving from Scorpio to Sagittarius, let's pull that back up here, and the picture is a little bit disturbing, but I think accurate. We make advancements, but we live in such a world of polarity that we don't often think of what is going to be the effect when we make these advancements. What are we going to lose when we move forward toward gain? And it seems that there's always some sort of give and take, or something in our world of duality that we have to live with. But I feel like maybe we're just catapulting so fast now because of technology that we are losing some of the slower process that enables us to observe and look and join others and participate and have more of the human side and the natural side in our lives. So go out and play today, look toward nature. I recommended in my daily forecast today that you get outside and go out under the sky. If you have a clear sky tonight, look toward the moon. When was the last time that you went out and really looked at the sky? When was the last time maybe you had a fire and roasted some marshmallows and sang some songs or told some stories? So have some fun, go out, camp, be with your family, be with your friends, enjoy your children, and enjoy the fun side of life. And that can help you, I think, find your true north and determine what's more important for you at this time in your life and what you want to do with the next cycle ahead of you. Everybody take care, be safe, and especially if you're traveling for the holidays.